Roe versus Wade.
Roe versus Wade.
Roe v. Wade.
The Supreme Court poised to strike down Roe versus Wade. That, according to an unprecedented leak of the justice's draft opinion overnight, a decision would alter the nationwide battle over abortion.
Why are abortion laws in the United States looking uncertain right now? Well, a leaked Supreme Court document written by arch-conservative Justice Samuel Alito shows that he and a right-leaning majority have provisionally voted to overturn Roe v. Wade. Well, what does this mean? Well, Roe v. Wade was a landmark ruling which made access to safe and legal abortions a constitutional right in the U.S. In 1969, Norma McCorvey, under the pseudonym Jane Roe, challenged the criminal abortion laws in Texas, arguing that these laws went against the U.S. Constitution because they infringed on a woman's right to privacy. The court justices eventually ruled that a woman's right to terminate her pregnancy was protected by the U.S. Constitution. Now, if Roe is overturned, it won't be the only case affected. A very important abortion case that came 20 years after Roe is Planned Parenthood of Southeastern Pennsylvania versus Casey. It was a 1992 court decision that upheld Roe but paved the way for more restrictions on abortion access because it declared that restrictions were allowed as long as there was not an undue burden. Under Roe, a trimester framework was used to set standards on when an abortion could be restricted. On the first trimester of a pregnancy, an abortion was unrestricted. In the second trimester, the state allowed to add some restrictions but now outlaw abortion in the interest of the pregnant person's health. In the third trimester, the fetus was considered viable, and the state could regulate or outlaw abortions in the interest of the fetus except when it came to life or death situations of the pregnant person. Casey took this framework and threw it in the trash. The justices said that in order to keep the right of an abortion, but also recognize the state has a profound interest in potential life, there should be a new standard of undue burden. Meaning that as long as an abortion restriction does not add an extra burden or a substantial obstacle onto the person seeking an abortion before the fetus is viable, the restriction is allowed. What constitutes an undue burden is the gray area that opened doors for states to pass laws that required counseling before an abortion, waiting period, and parental involvement of a minor. There was also additional physician and hospital restrictions added in some states. It was up to the judge to determine whether these state laws could be considered burdens. And the reason why Casey is so important legally is that Casey upheld Roe, saying that the right to an abortion was protected. In other words, it followed what is called a stare decisis, which is known in law to be following precedent set by previous cases that the court has decided on. It isn't common for the court to backtrack on its own opinions. There is a long history of respecting the precedent that's already been set. Even in the court's opinion of Casey, Justice is right about how they can just bend to political or social pressures to change what has previously been determined. They said there would be a cost, both profound and unnecessary damage to the court's legitimacy. They can't just backtrack on what they say because they want to go on with the standard of their time, which is why this draft opinion is dastardly. Not only, if this goes on, will this affect millions of Americans, it will revert back on not one, but two decisions that the court has made in the past to say that the right to an abortion is protected, which is why there is such an uproar to this draft opinion and why many people are fighting to get this changed. If or when Roe is overturned, 26 states are likely to ban abortion. It will also provide a roadmap for future attempts to deny the dignity and the rights of people across the nation. Marginalized communities will likely feel the impact the most. Many may not have access to childcare, resulting in devastating mental health and financial aspects. Children will be put into the foster care system where donor breast milk is very hard to come by. And with the already high baby formula shortage, it will get even worse with the amount of unwanted pregnancies and babies that will be overflowing the market. There are many issues that can be foreseen as the overturning of Roe v. Wade is very near in the future.